What if I told you the Cleveland Browns are about to make a decision that could define the next decade of this franchise? And no, I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about what's coming in 2026, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Look, we all know the quarterback position in Cleveland has been, let's just say, complicated. For years, we've watched this organization search for that guy, the one who can finally bring stability, consistency, and yes, championships to this city. And right now, as we sit here watching this season unfold, that search might be far from over. Here's where things get interesting. The Browns have two rookie quarterbacks on their roster right now. Shedeur Sanders, the kid from Colorado who came into the league with all the hype, all the pedigree, and all the potential to be a franchise cornerstone. Then there's Jameis Winston, who's gotten the starting nod, and has been, well, inconsistent is probably the kindest way to put it. For starts, mixed results, and a whole lot of question marks about whether he's the long-term answer. Now here's the kicker. Sanders hasn't even gotten a real shot yet. Think about that for a second. You draft a guy with that much talent, that much buzz around him, and he's still waiting for his opportunity. What does that tell you? Either the coaching staff sees something they don't like in practice, or they're being extremely cautious, or maybe, just maybe, they're not fully sold on what they have. And that brings us to the bombshell that's got everyone talking. ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr., the godfather of draft analysis, just dropped a prediction that has Browns fans either excited or terrified, depending on how you look at it. During a recent mock draft special, Kiper projected that Cleveland, sitting at the 6th overall pick in the 2026 draft, could be targeting Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Wait, did I say Dillon Gabriel? My bad. I meant Dante Moore. Yeah, Dante Moore. The kid who's been lighting it up at Oregon and has scouts drooling over his arm talent and football IQ. Now listen to what Kiper said, and this is important. He admitted he was a huge Shedeur Sanders guy going into the 2025 draft. But now he's saying when you do a mock draft, you have to remove your personal feelings and look at the reality of the situation. And the reality he sees is that Cleveland doesn't seem to love Sanders. They're not giving him a chance. Winston is playing, but doesn't look like a franchise guy. So in Kiper's mind, the Browns need to hit the reset button and go after Dante Moore, who he has ranked as the #1 player on his board. Let that sink in for a moment. One of the most respected draft analysts in the business is essentially saying the Browns might need to use a top 10 pick on another quarterback just 1 year after drafting Sanders. That's not just analysis. That's a statement about how dire the situation looks from the outside looking in. And here's the thing, Kiper isn't wrong about the stakes. The AFC North is an absolute gauntlet. You've got Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, still one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in football when he's healthy. You've got Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, a former MVP, who can take over games with his arm and his legs. And then you've got Cleveland trying to figure out who's even going to be under center next year, let alone who can compete with those guys for the next 5 to 10 years. This isn't just about winning games in 2025. This is about the entire trajectory of the franchise. The Browns have built something real here. The defense is solid. The offensive line can protect. There are playmakers all over the roster. Kevin Stefanski has proven he can coach. But none of that matters if you don't have the quarterback. None of it. You can have the best team in the world, but if you don't have that guy who can make the throw on 3rd and 7, who can lead a game-winning drive, who can elevate everyone around him, you're just spinning your wheels. So what does Cleveland do? Do they give Sanders the rest of this season and see what they have? Do they roll with Winston and hope he figures it out? Or do they start planning for the 2026 draft right now, keeping tabs on Dante Moore and getting ready to make a move that could change everything? Because here's what we know about Moore. The kid has everything you want in a modern NFL quarterback. He's got the arm to make every throw. He's got the mobility to extend plays. He's got the poise and the presence that makes you believe he can handle the pressure of leading an NFL offense. Scouts love him. Coaches love him. And if he keeps playing the way he's been playing at Oregon, he's going to be one of the first names called on draft day. But drafting another quarterback after just taking Sanders would be a massive admission. It would be the front office saying, we got it wrong. We need to try again. And in the NFL, that's a dangerous game to play. You can't keep swinging and missing at the most important position in sports. Eventually, ownership loses patience. Fans lose faith. And the window you've built with your defense and your coaching staff starts to close. On the flip side, if Sanders or Winston shows something, anything, over the next several weeks that makes the organization believe they can be the guy, then maybe this whole conversation is premature. Maybe Sanders just needs time. Maybe he needs real game reps to show what he can do. Or maybe Winston finds a rhythm and proves everyone wrong. Football is unpredictable like that. Guys develop at different rates. Some need a year on the bench. Some need to be thrown into the fire. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. But the clock is ticking. Every game that goes by without a clear answer at quarterback is another game the Browns are wasting with a talented roster. And in the AFC, you can't afford to waste time. Teams like Kansas City, Buffalo, and yes, even Cincinnati and Baltimore, they're not waiting around. They're building dynasties. They're making deep playoff runs. They're competing for Super Bowls. Cleveland needs to join that conversation, and they can't do it without solving the quarterback puzzle. And before we go any further, if you're loving this breakdown and you want to stay updated on everything Browns, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Seriously, it helps the algorithm push this content to more Browns fans, and it tells us here at Browns Breakout that you want more of this kind of deep dive analysis. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're building something special here, and you don't want to miss out on the latest news, rumors, and insights about your Cleveland Browns. All right, back to the quarterback situation. Let's play out some scenarios here because this is where it gets really interesting. Scenario 1. Sanders gets his shot in the final stretch of the season, and he balls out. He shows command of the offense, he makes the throws, he leads the team to a few wins, and suddenly the front office feels confident about the future. In that case, you don't even think about drafting another quarterback. You build around Sanders, you give him weapons, and you let him grow into the role. Scenario 2. Winston continues to start, plays well enough to keep the job, but nothing about his performance screams franchise quarterback. The Browns finish somewhere in the middle of the pack, and the front office is left with a decision. Do we commit to Winston for another year? Do we finally unleash Sanders? Or do we take advantage of that top 10 pick and go get the guy we really want? Scenario 3. And this is the one that has everyone buzzing. Neither Sanders nor Winston shows enough, and Cleveland decides they need to make a bold move. They trade up if they have to, or they sit at 6 and take Dante Moore, betting that he's the generational talent who can turn this franchise into a perennial contender. Each of these scenarios has massive implications. The wrong choice could set the Browns back for years. The right choice could launch them into a decade of dominance. No pressure, right? And let's be real, Cleveland fans have been through this before. We've seen quarterbacks come and go. We've seen the hype, the hope, and the heartbreak. From Tim Couch to Brady Quinn to Brandon Weeden to Johnny Manziel to Deshaun Kaiser to Baker Mayfield to Deshaun Watson, it's been a revolving door of quarterbacks trying to be the answer. And every time we've been told, this is the one. This is the guy who's going to change everything. So forgive Browns fans if they're a little skeptical, a little hesitant to get their hopes up again. But that's also what makes this moment so critical. Because if Cleveland finally gets this right, if they finally find that franchise quarterback who can be the face of this organization for the next 10 to 15 years, everything changes. The culture changes. The expectations change. The entire trajectory of the franchise changes. And this city, this loyal, passionate, long-suffering fan base, finally gets the success they've been waiting for. So, as we watch the rest of this season unfold, keep your eyes on Sanders. Keep your eyes on Winston. And keep your eyes on Dante Moore out in Oregon, because there's a real chance he could be wearing brown and orange come April 2026. The future of the Cleveland Browns is being written right now, with every snap, every throw, every decision. And whether it's Sanders, Winston, Moore, or someone we haven't even considered yet, one thing is certain. The Browns are at a crossroads, and the path they choose will define this franchise for years to come. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you Team Shedeur Sanders? Do you think he deserves a Real shot? Or are you already looking ahead to the draft and guys like Dante Moore? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation about where this team is headed. And remember, we're all in this together. Through the ups, the downs, and everything in between, we bleed brown and orange. Let's go Browns.